Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome you to this flight number 22 of Fire Talk Radio Airlines. On this flight, you'll notice that we're going to be doing some loop-de-loops, a few nosedives. It's a part of our new training and uh, exercise experiments to see if we can not only get you to your destination faster, but also just to give you a little bit more fun. The seatbelt lights have been turned off because it is definitely more fun to fly without the seatbelts when we're doing this. If you want to do handstands when we go upside down, we definitely encourage that. And we hope that you enjoy this episode and this flight. We will see you at our destination, and may God have mercy on our souls.
I can only count to four. I can only count to four. I can only count to four. I can only count to.
All right. We are back today with just me and Ryan, Jason and Ryan for today. Ryan, what's going on today, and what's the uh, information? How can people get a hold of us?
Oh yeah, you can always find us on our website at firetalkradio.com, Facebook Fire Talk Radio. You can always email us at firetalknetwork@gmail.com, or you can always go old school, leave us a voicemail 814-380-9820. Leave a comment. Find us on iTunes, Spotify, uh, Audible. Leave your comments. YouTube is live. Subscribe. You always know when we go live, even though technically this is a pre-recorded show, but with YouTube, since we use Riverside, since they link together, um, turns us live.
Yeah.
So if you want to check us out live, you are more than welcome to. Um, I have it up always when we're recording, so I can always glance at the chat room, so you can do live talk, and then if I catch it, I'll make a comment. If I don't catch it, I'm sorry.
um, yeah, and if you hit that little bell on there, you should get notified too. Go live, which is awesome. So usually we try to stick to Monday nights when possible, but it moves around, and sometimes like we were
It
gonna
all depends
record.
on work schedules because we're
Yeah.
adults.
Well, I'm not, but
Mainly my work schedule.
yeah. Well, and we were gonna go last Thursday before Christmas, and I got a thunder snow. Thunder snow. First time
Yeah,
in my entire life I ever heard the term thunder snow. Not thunderstorm, thunder snow. Um,
it's a great reaction when you're seeing snow fall down and ice fall down and
it, it was it
lightning
was
in the sky.
it was kind of cool. So it did knock out our my internet, which is why we couldn't go live. Uh, but yeah, it was kind of cool because yeah, like a thunderstorm, you see the lightning in the sky and it kind of lights up the clouds and stuff. With this, because of all the snow and stuff, when it lit up, you saw all these sparkly, like little lightning looking things as it was reflecting off the snow.
Yeah, it reflects off the ice, so it looks like it's firecrackers in the sky.
That's
It,
exactly,
it's
yeah.
fucking it's fucking wild to watch.
Yeah.
I will say this. Sorry, Andy's mom, because I know Andy's coming back. I will try to not say the f bomb so much, but I'm not promising anything. Um, I am the reason why our show is explicit. I will say that right now. Because Jason
I
doesn't
don't
have enough time to hit the bleep button on me.
I don't know.
And
I
then,
mean, I throw some in there every now and then.
okay,
But
between the two of us here, it's me.
so but
I have no problems admitting to when I know it's me. Um,
yeah. Yeah. So
all right.
all right. So first thing that we what we should go into, because this is something I wanted to talk about last time and we didn't. because it's just so hilarious. Um,
Oh,
Woman accidentally goes live on Facebook while let's just say the boat was rocking in her bedroom.
she going to Pound Town. She was just getting pounded. And the best thing
Yeah.
about Facebook Live, it alerts anybody that's on your on your friends and family list that you're live. Oh man, that must have been all
Yes.
ass,
So
all ass in their face.
well, I guess it was just audio, but like, her family, even her dad, like joined in and like, oh,
That's
such and such
awesome.
is live. My daughter's live. What's she doing today? And you just hear, oh, oh, oh.
That's
I-
it's fucking fantastic.
It was great. So she's on TikTok, known as R Robinson 16. She talked about it on TikTok also, but then took the video down. Um, but yeah, she had no clue when she set her phone down that uh, it was live and it was broadcasting. One of her friends kept trying to call her. Uh, and tell her that what was going on, and um she kept trying to call so that the broadcast kept getting interrupted, but then she had her phone on like do not disturb, so every
Yeah,
time it'd go through interrupt the
it just got
broadcast and
sent
then
right
come
to
back.
voicemail.
Yeah, so it was, this is just so funny. We'll have a link to the article in the show notes, but um I don't know how I would feel if, or my wife would feel if we somehow broadcasted us. I mean, I'm sure there's people that make
I,
good money doing that, but not on
I
Facebook.
mean, that's why OnlyFans exists, right?
That's the only reason OnlyFans exists. You think people are like signing up for OnlyFans to like, keep up with their favorite celebrity? Hell no.
Who knows?
No, they're joining OnlyFans to catch the hot neighbor down the road who has an account up without their significant other knowing. But uh, so yeah, so I wanted to talk about that when we had um, all three of us together last week. But it's just this would have been.
Andy would have. We'll get Andy's cut on that. Hey, how would you feel if your phone went live while you were banging your wife?
Or
Yeah,
anyone. Like
that would have been a question.
the only thing that would have made that worse would have been like if she was having an affair and it was like her husband had like ended up getting a notification or something.
That would have been hilarious.
Like that would have been so.
Because my thing is like, how would you be able to deny that in divorce court? That she was having an affair. How do you know? Fucking plenty of fucking witnesses.
Yeah. So getting I guess another woman in 2017, the similar thing happened. She was getting heavy with her boyfriend and broadcasted it and live to 14,000 people in 3 minutes. 14,000 people in 3 minutes joined that live. How fast does it spread on Facebook?
It spreads really quickly.
um but yeah, that was one I would, all three of us, that would have been such a great topic.
That would have been a great back and forth. Yeah.
All
Oh,
right. So that I wanted to talk about from last week. I got nothing else on that. So
I mean, it was kind of one of those one hitter quitters. There was one that last week I wanted to talk about that we didn't get to. We ran out of time. Was AOC called out Nancy Pelosi, one of the squad leaders
It's
Um,
weird when I agree with AOC. It's a weird feeling.
I FDR said it best, and I am quoting him very well. There's something to worry about if a politician is in office and they're getting rich.
Which that's every politician. I don't care what side of the aisle.
Yeah, no, that's I know. This is a this is right down cutthroat. The right does it, the left does it. This needs to stop. There's actually a law that they passed says that they can't do this, but they do it anyways. It's like a $500 fine, and then they fucking move on. Um, it needs to be enforced. They need to fucking stop it. Nancy Pelosi, I think, in the last couple of years, actually the last year when Biden made office, they announced the main thing is when they announced electric cars, the Teslas. They announced that she bought she had her husband buy $1 million of Tesla stock.
Right.
Next day, they announced that they are moving the entire presidential fleet and Congress fleet to electric cars. Their stock went through the fucking roof.
Right. Right. I mean,
If
according to
that's not insider trading, I don't know what the
thing.
fuck is.
That's the thing. Anybody, if you work at Apple and you know that something is going, they're going to buy up. Okay, Apple bought Beats years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. It wasn't public knowledge for a long time, but obviously the people at the top knew about it.
Oh yeah.
Beats stock was awful beforehand.
Oh yeah.
So if you knew about that and
before Apple bought it and you bought all that Beats stock and then Apple took
That's-
over, your stock would have gone through the roof.
Right, that's insider trading. In any other capacity, it's insider trading. Yeah, Congress does it regularly. Especially from what I'm seeing, I don't want to say that it doesn't happen from the Republicans. All of the news sources that I've been seeing,
all the winos.
Yeah.
Rhinos. Yeah, all the old Republicans.
They could be winos too.
They could be. This is probably the only thing I agree about AOC because I can't stand that.
Well, it's called the Stock Act, and according to Yahoo News, 52 members of Congress and 182 senior staffers of these members of Congress have violated this act that they know of.
Yeah.
So
what I thought was great is that when Nancy Pelosi recently had her press conference, because why she has a press conference fucking beats me. They asked her about this.
Yes.
She goes, "Oh, I've never heard about that study." And no, that it's a free market. Everybody should be a part of it.
It's a free market, and I
believe in
the free market, and I think we should be able to participate in the free market.
No. I mean, it sounded pretty fucking spot on in the way she fucking. But she ain't fucking sober when she's fucking giving her. I can tell you that now. That bitch fucking is probably drunk.
She hasn't been sober since the 70s.
You know what's great is like, okay, so when the House does the vote, Pelosi is only there 10% of the time to actually listen to the conversations. Her assistants sit in for her. And I'm like, man, if you're a House fucking speaker, shouldn't you actually be in the House?
You would think, but
what was it? Then speaking of House Speaker options. So in 2022, when the House and Senate possibly will flip red, Matthew Gaetz from Florida is going to recommend Donald Trump to be the new House Speaker.
Doesn't he have to be in Congress to do that?
He does not. by law, the House Speaker does not have to be a member of Congress.
I don't
They
think
have
that'll
to
pass,
be.
but that would be
They
hilarious.
have to get the votes.
Right.
They'll have the votes.
I don't know.
That I don't know. I think it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah.
And
I think I do think though that both the flip as the way it is, we're less than a year out from election. There are, what is it, 30, 35, I think, 32 Democrats that are retiring.
oh yeah, man, the House is gonna
there's
fucking lose so many
13
damn people.
There's 13 Republicans that are retiring. There's, and then that's not counting, not saying all those will go red, but then there's a lot of other places where it'll flip from red to blue. Plus, with 2022 or with the 2020 census, there was a lot of redistricting.
Oh yeah,
Florida,
Texas got remapped hard.
Texas got remapped hard. California got remapped hard. LA County, like 2 of the congressional seats got combined.
Yeah.
Florida picked up congressional seats. So that's more, since Florida is actually now more registered Republicans than Democrats and independents combined.
Yeah, it's not a battleground. They're not considering it a battleground state anymore.
Right.
Because of that.
Michigan is getting redistricted, though who the hell knows what our districts are going to be, because they still haven't figured that shit out, because Michigan decided, oh, we're going to, rather than doing it like, you know, having the Michigan Congress, the Senate do it, they actually passed to have a independent, quote unquote, bipartisan committee to do the redistricting that is not nobody on the Senate or in the Michigan House can do, can be a part of it. So the thing is they are doing everything behind closed doors. The Detroit Free Press had to sue the state of Michigan and take it up to the Michigan Supreme Court to get them to release documents from their closed sessions.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw a link
in which
said that.
They were part of the deal that was struck to have them, was that they would do no, have no meetings and no business outside of the public view. Everything had to be in the public view. Everything. And they're not following that. So who knows what's going to happen to Michigan, you know, when it comes to the districts.
It's going to become part of Wisconsin.
That would be the Upper Peninsula part. They already consider them Wisconsin anyway. But so it's going to be crazy. It's going to be a crazy year, because not only are we looking at flipping stuff, we've got redistricting, we've got people moving around. I mean, the reason Florida went red is thanks to COVID. So many people are moving to Florida. I could afford it, I'd move to Florida right now. Florida or Texas. Those are the 2 places that...
I told my wife, I said, we should move to Florida. She goes, I don't want to deal with hurricanes. I said, we're going to get wet.
Yeah. Every so often you board up the windows, you know.
Yeah, I mean...
You know, where I'm at...
But I thought...
You don't have to deal with hurricanes.
My seller was that we pay in-state pricing for Disney, which is cheaper than out-of-state pricing for Disney. So I was like, that might sell it. And I thought it was like, Florida's a giant nursing home. Your medical license will transfer, so you shall be fine.
That's what I told.
Always at work.
That's what I told my wife. Or she wanted to talk, because I was joking around one day, and I listened to Ben Shapiro, and he moved from California. Well, he moved to Florida, but his business moved to Tennessee. And
yeah,
they were looking for video editors, And I'm like, well, I'm a video editor. And she's like, so are you going to
for it.
apply? I'm like, I don't know if I want to move and live in Nashville.
Fuck, I go.
I don't want to live in Nashville. Like,
There's nothing
if
wrong
I
with
was-
Nashville. I'm not saying you have to live in Nashville. There's plenty of good areas right around Nashville.
I like small town.
In
Like,
10 to 1, you probably won't even have to be in the office. You could probably do it remote. But they probably want you to live in Tennessee. Fucking A. I would move.
Yeah, I don't know. We have this house. It's been forever that I've wanted to own a house. I don't feel like up and moving and finding another house.
Yeah, that's probably the only reason why I haven't done it yet is because I don't want to fucking move.
Not that
anymore.
I can't. I don't want to.
That is the don't want to do it either.
But so yeah, so next year is going to be crazy. I hope we flip. I hope we hammer everything. And here's the other thing. This whole January 6th commission, I hope when we take back the House or the Senate, I hope we open up 2 commissions against all of the people that are lying and stuff, trying to tarnish and lie about January 6th. Did you see what they had about what's his name from Ohio?
Jim Jordanson.
Jim Jordan. Yeah. I should know him. He's a wrestler. He's a wrestling coach. He, basically took a text from somebody and forwarded on to Mark Meadows. And rather than playing or showing the whole thing, they literally took one little section out. It wasn't even his words. And it was just hypothetical, like, I guess, hypothetical legalese saying, hypothetically, legally, this could happen. This could be done. And it was about the vice president not allowing, what he believes to be fraudulent votes to be cast. And they took that to say, oh, he was colluding with people. He was colluding. Now they're looking at people that helped set up all of these. What are they? The rallies, between the November election and January 6th, that were part of the tour, for these rallies around the country. Now they're subpoenaing them. Really?
Yeah.
What the hell do they have to do with any of that?
It never amazes me because they had in that thing they had like 36 pages of quote unquote, it was a weird PowerPoint that had absolutely nothing to do with it but one page that they were focused on. I unfortunately can't remember. I can't find the I'm sorry everybody. I'm very poor at finding this PowerPoint all of a sudden. I think it got scrubbed from the internet because they didn't want it out there because people were fucking ripping it apart. It just doesn't make any sense. So yes, January 6th sucked for everybody. Everyone believes that Trump said, "Hey, go." He told everybody to voice their opinion at the Capitol. He not one time said, "Go inside."
No.
In his speeches at all.
They always bring up this, you got to fight like hell. Well, you know what? That's just hyperbole. I mean, it doesn't mean you physically go down there and he's telling them to fight. It's you got to fight, use your voice. He also told them to be peaceful.
So Washington, D.C. is covered in cameras. Big Brother has every nook and cranny covered. why won't Nancy Pelosi release those videotapes?
They released one that supposedly helped them that took place in like a parking garage or a tunnel or something
Yeah.
like that, where a police officer got beat down.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. That's not enough. There is enough video to write that whole story legitimately. They're just piecing little bits here and there. That doesn't make any sense. You want to talk about Big Brother? Big Brother's all over DC and especially around the Capitol. Release all the fucking footage. Let the public decide of what actually happened. This is not a race or a political argument. This is okay. You really want to know the truth? Then let them show the truth and let a public of opinion of your peers review it and judge it.
Right.
All that was sent was okay. So my foster mom worked for the Smithsonian many moons ago. Um,
Here you go. I found it.
there are underground tunnels that link all the Capitol buildings together. So when Congress was evacuated, there is only 2 elevators in there um that will take you to the basement to those tunnels. That's where everybody was held out up at. As soon as everybody was down there, they locked down those elevators so no one can access it.
Right.
That's why it took so damn long for everybody to come back up. That's my
Well,
opinion.
and you take AOC, who was, I feared for
Oh
my
yeah,
life.
fuck her.
You were a half a mile away.
Yeah, she was not even near the Capitol, so she can go fucking kick rocks. I had what she did with Nancy Pelosi is completely different than what she did at the Capitol. She could kick rocks on that moment. But I'm just there's so much that could have been shown during this, and what Senator Cheney or House whatever her fucking actual name is, Cheney. She needs fucking out. She's just a fucking. She needs to just change office. And
Yeah.
So everybody's upset about yeah. Okay, so I know on a few of them they were saying about fixing the vote, where they see where the mass injection of votes, which they were showing.
Right. The lines where it comes in at and everything.
Yeah, and I'm like, I watched it. I watched shit leave one person and go to another. The exact amount that just that didn't make sense whatsoever. And then 16 they're talking about China. Well, no, China
You,
doesn't even want China and
you know,
Russia are together, so we're end up in World War III soon, especially between Taiwan and Ukraine.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
if you
Taiwan,
guys don't know, they just signed a $700 billion military budget today.
which
Um,
100 military budget, that's basically a yearly budget.
yeah,
But it's
they
some of the
sold
other
what
stuff that
30
went with it.
what 30,000 Humvees to Ukraine
Yeah.
that they're on their way over, fully armed, mind you. They are not just regular Humvees. They have M60s on top. So like they're armed. They're arming you. We're arming Ukraine. And
And
you really think Russia's gonna really take that fucking city down? And on
well, and
top of that, China wants to take us to the UN for all the bullshit for the 20-year war, how we treated Afghanistan. I'm sorry. We went to Afghanistan and Iraq because the fucking bitches attacked us on our own soil.
and on top of that, how we treated them in Afghanistan, overall, we basically liberated the country. They had more freedoms in that 20 years. You were a 5-year-old girl in 2001. Basically spent your entire life without having to worry about the tax rule. Pretty
Right.
much. And then in the summer of 2021, matter of less than a month, your whole world came crumbling down.
Oh, yeah.
Everything that you grew up knowing came crashing. That's how we wasn't us being there, it was how we lied. In China, well, I can't say it because Andy's mom might be listening. So, but that, and then as we're talking about so much shit going on. As we're talking about this, then you have Biden who for a whole year, longer than that, was talking about not removing we can't remove the filibuster. We can't,
Now he wants to remove the
now
filibuster.
he wants to do it so that they can pass the voting act. Pass the voting act.
I'm sorry. I think voting needs to stay with the state. It should never
go to the
be a federal thing.
And the way that they want to change the stuff that they want to change is they want to basically enshrine what 2020 was. Because if the states fix their voting rolls, then they can't win the same way that
the election.
Anything. Or potentially fix it. So this whole, they're doing it, they're making it harder for people to vote. How? By adding more days to vote? By saying that you can't count ballots after a certain day, after midnight of the day that...
So, I think it's hilarious. I fucking can't stand Joy Reid on MSNBC. She's... everything that the left has done and said while Trump was in office, like, fuck Trump and the Orange Man, really fucking degrading him, and really skewing the narrative. That's the thing. It's just a flat out narrative. Biden is actually doing everything that they are claiming he did.
Oh yeah, and it's so funny when I'm on
thing
social
is,
media, Facebook, TikTok, and they call me and they call the Republicans fascists. Are you kidding me? Biden's the one that has the back channels to the media. Biden's the one that is threatening Facebook and all these other companies and people that quote unquote have misinformation, which is basically just stuff they don't like. Biden's the one that I mean, I had a whole list at one point, and my ADHD is kicking in, and my mind is going in different directions. But everything that they're basically blaming Republicans, they're doing themselves. So let's take a look at the filibuster. They can't win. They can't pass this with the rules that have been established for Congress since the beginning of Congress. And the whole point of the filibuster is slow the roll, slow down. So you can't have a 50+1 majority passing through whatever they want to pass through. That's the point of the filibuster. It gives the minorities in Congress a say. In turn, it gives the people that are not a part of the majority a say, because they represent us. And with that, look back, I'd have to look it up. I think it was 2013 when they were trying to pass the Democrats, maybe it was 2009. Either way, it was when Obama was in office, and they were trying to pass a bunch of judicial appointments, and they were getting filibustered because they were shit appointments. So what did they do? They removed the judicial appointments. Cut to 2020. What was it? September 2020. and all of a sudden have a Supreme Court appointment up. Now, all of a sudden, they're pissing and that the Republicans are pushing through Amy Coney Barrett for the Supreme Court with less than 6 weeks. And they're trying to say, oh, well, you know, when Boehner was was ahead, you know, he said that, or McConnell was ahead, sorry. He said that they can't, you know, they had, it's too close to the election and they had to wait. Merrick Garland didn't have the votes. He wouldn't have passed. So
Yeah.
it didn't matter that or what they didn't have the votes. Now, because they got rid of the filibuster, Amy Coney
had the
Barrett
votes.
did have the votes because all they needed was 51.
Mhm.
And the Democrats couldn't do shit about it because they removed the filibuster. Had they had not done that, they would have been able to stop that nomination until after the election.
Correct.
But they didn't because they
Correct.
don't have the forethought to go, oh, this is going to come back and kick us in the ass, because they think, oh, once we're in power, we're always going to be in power. And the things that we do can never be used against us.
Yeah. That's what that's what happens when you had Hillary Clinton running. People would just rather vote for Trump and not deal with Hillary Clinton.
So
That was the panic. That's when everyone realized. Everyone went to bed thinking that Hillary won. They woke up and they realized she didn't fucking win.
yeah. And you didn't have to stay up that late to know that she didn't win. It was like midnight.
Oh no.
It was like midnight. Everyone knew.
It was actually like 11:30.
Yeah.
It wasn't even midnight. They didn't even finish most of the voting, and I was like, they called it for Trump. And what is it? Rachel Maddow from MSNBC was so. I mean, the scowl on her face
Oh,
during that vote.
I'm sorry. I
sw-
loved that. I loved watching. I was watching MSNBC that night just so I could watch the reactions. Every time they had to say, and Georgia goes to Trump, and Pennsylvania goes to Trump, and
Trump.
Michigan.
Yeah, it was
goes
great.
to-
And I was like, she's like, great. Now we have an actual President Trump. And I'm like, you guys realize they weren't going to put in a President Clinton again. Especially not Hillary Clinton.
Right.
Not after the Benghazi issue. She lost the whole
and it was-
military life.
It not only did she do that, she was just such an unpleasant person.
Oh God, she was so goddamn bitter.
Yeah, the whole time. Oh, so the thing is getting back to is they want to change all these rules without thinking about why the rules are in there to begin with. Because, oh, we have to pass this, and in order to pass this, we have to remove this roadblock. Well, you know what? You remove that roadblock, and now we have a 6-4 majority of Republican nominations in the Supreme Court.
Oh yeah.
Because you removed that roadblock. You could have, had you not done that, had you have thought ahead, you could have said, well, we're not going to get all of these Obama nominations for lower courts, but we're not going to fuck ourselves in the end later on down the road. So now, and that's also why Trump got so many court appointments in. It's because there was nothing to stop any of his appointments.
Nope, not at all.
So they couldn't, all they could do for the first 2 years when the Republicans held the Senate was 2 years, 4 years, the whole time. When the Republicans held the Senate, all they could do was watch, because they already screwed themselves and they couldn't do anything. They had the tool to stop it. They removed it. Now they want to do it for everything. oh, we got to get this this voting rights passed. Well, eventually, even with that voting rights passed, eventually it's going to turn and Republicans are going to be in control again, and they can do whatever the hell they want because you have no way of filibustering it, which the Democrats used all the time when Trump was in office.
Yeah. So I mean, here nor there. I mean, it's gonna. We all know the typical Democrat is going to just gonna do something for the now, not for the future. Speaking of Democrats, I know this is a nice little segue into JFK, John F. Kennedy. Recently, they finally released his assassination documentation. Um, it's been almost 60 years, mind you. It's been 60 years since the last, I will say, greatest Democratic president. I think.
I don't considered a Democrat right now.
Oh no. Oh no.
He would-
The
he
Kennedys
would-
would be a Republican now, but he represented what the Democratic Party was and should be to this day.
What my dad used to call
Um,
blue dogs.
Yeah. I will give Kennedy. I mean, my theory. I mean, Joe Rogan said it best that at first they were delaying it. They're like, oh well, the government planned his assassination. I still believe that the government planned to have Kennedy assassinated because one of his greatest speeches was how he was going to drain the swamp. He was going to get the career politicians out. He wanted the government to go back to the people, and then
Yep.
magically he fucking vanished. And then when his son became of age, it was running for New York. Was governor or Senate.
Senate.
He was
Yep.
running for an office for New York. Then his plane mysteriously crashed, and that's when Hillary Clinton took over. That's where everyone forgets. The Kennedys and the Trumps were actually very good friends.
I've heard that. I've heard that. Yeah.
Trump was a Democrat because of Kennedy.
He was
His
a
whole
Democrat
family.
like 2007 or 2006.
No, he was a Democrat. He stayed with the Democratic Party up till the Obama era. And it's like, and everyone talks about how about his taxes and all. You gotta understand, he may not have paid a lick in taxes. Good for him. He used the tax code
Right.
the way it is written. And anybody, right, left, anybody that does taxes wants to get the most out of it. Wants to not give the government as much as they have to. Anything can be a write-off. It'll be a write-off.
Right.
Or
when you're that rich, you're not getting an income.
No,
You're not getting an
income. It's all invested.
It's all of your stuff is invested, and you're just taking out what you need. You're taking loans out, and you're paying back the loans with the investments. So
the only person right now that's going to be paying a huge tax bill is Elon Musk, the person of the year, according to Times.
and
After he has cashed out some,
Clearly.
he did because he pulled all that fucking stock out.
Right.
After the new tax laws came out, he pulled all that stock out. Therefore, now he has to be taxed on it. He's like, whatever, I'm paying it, right? Fucking Elizabeth Warren wants to call him a freeloader. I thought that was great. But back to JFK. I will put in the show notes the link to the 1,500-page document that the government released. If you want to sift through it, that is great. I've been flipping through it here and there. It's all redacted, so
Yeah, you gotta love
piece
100 pages of black.
God.
Except for the
my
word
thing
the CIA.
Yeah, that's where it always makes me wonder that the government didn't put a hit out on the president and just try to cover it up. Um, and it's a shame because if he had actually got to fill out his whole presidency, the question is, how would that have changed the United States? Um,
There's a Hulu movie or based on that.
yeah,
Where James Franco goes back in time and prevents his assassination, and it ends up destroying the world, and because of because of the Cold War and Russia shooting nukes at us and everything.
yeah. I mean,
It's a good show. I'll look it up in a second and bring it up. But it's a good show.
yeah. But being that said, I mean, you'll have to make your own opinion. You can't take my opinion on that. That's just it's
So
there. They finally released it after 60 fucking years. Um,
the name of the
yeah.
name of the miniseries is 11.263. 11.22.63.
The day JFK was shot.
Yeah.
Huh.
But I mean, it's so the thing is all of that, and we talk about income tax. Yeah, we didn't have an income tax until World War One.
No, you're wrong. You know where income tax came from?
As far as I knew, it came from World War One, and it was supposed
Nope.
to be temporary.
It was temporary. It was the offset for prohibition when they were no longer getting the alcohol tax. That's when income tax was put in. So after prohibition left, income tax was supposed to be removed, but the government got greedy and decided to take both the alcohol tax and income tax.
Well, it says the first income tax was during the Civil War.
Yeah.
Then in the early 20th century, the income tax was renewed in February 1913. The 16th Amendment to the Constitution was ratified, granting Congress the power to tax personal income.
It was mainly put in because they were losing revenue from alcohol. Yeah, but they were getting ready
They were
for it
getting
because
they were getting a lot of they had a lot of alcohol in the 1920s.
Oh yeah, man, this was the Roaring 20s, man. It was the year. It was the era of jazz.
In 1921, Congress sought to protect local agriculture, emergency tariff. 16th Amendment, ratified Supreme Court.
I think the United States would be fixed if they went to a flat tax rate.
Oh, absolutely. Because then here's the thing is a flat tax, or it actually not even a flat tax, I think a fair tax. Although a flat tax, if you did a flat tax without write-offs and had it low enough at 10% or something, because
yeah, I was thinking between 5 and there was a study done between 5 and 10% flat rate tax would actually get us out of debt.
And you have all these people making the argument, well, a person making $50,000, that means 5,000 of their $5 go towards, and that's a lot different than a person making $5 million and $500,000 going towards. Well, so what?
They're still paying.
And you don't have people that are not paying. You don't have the top, 10% paying 90% of the income tax. and the bottom 40% not paying any income tax. I think that's
Correct.
what it is.
Yeah. Something like that.
So, you know, trust me, I am not in the top 10%. I'm not in the top 50%. I would take that over, you know, if I get overtime. That's the other part, you know. Did you ever look at your overtime checks?
Oh, I hate looking at them.
You look at your overtime check. I mean, I've had overtime checks where I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna make so bank, and then I look at my overtime check, and after they take out taxes and everything, I'm going, I only made an extra $200.
Yeah.
How the hell did that happen?
An extra a month with my overtime, I make an additional $800 a month. Oh, that killed me during when my overtime was taken away for during COVID. I was like, man, how the and I tried to go to unemployment and be like, hey, I'm like short $800 a month. They're like, oh, that was just overtime. We can't that's just not guaranteeable. I'm like, it's been guaranteeable for the last 8 years.
Right. Right. When you're basically relying on that as a part of your paycheck. I remember when I was number of years ago when I was working and they froze all overtime for like 3 years. And man, it was like a kick in the balls.
Yeah, when you're going so long with overtime and they're like,
Yeah.
we're in the we're in the red for our
But
profit, so we need to like even though we're able to pay you all for us to make an actual profit, we need to cut off the overtime.
but I
And it's
even
like,
but I remember actually doing the math, and I figured out where I was working that if I worked between I think 11 hours and um 18 hours a pay period, 2-week pay period,
yeah,
I saw significant income. But if I went over that 18 hours, all of a sudden my income
you hit
dropped
a
to
different tax bracket.
yeah, my income dropped to and like I would actually bring home less than if I worked a couple extra less hours.
Yeah. Yeah, I've noticed that. So I already know where my sweet spot
Yeah.
gap is. So, you know,
Um but I that's
it's nuts.
but that's the thing. I think a fair tax. So a fair tax is basically a federal sales tax.
Yeah.
Don't so the thing is with income is you're taxing people on what they bring in. So you don't know what you're bringing in, you know. So you like we said with overtime, you're not making sometimes that much extra money depending on, you know, how much overtime you work. Uh with you know, then you start trying to play this game of, well, if I put money into my 401k, I put another into a Roth, that's pre-taxed. I don't make as much money, but I get more of that, and I can always take out of my Roth later on and pay the penalties if I need on that. If I uh, put you know, money into my medical spending, that's always my thing. Oh, I'm gonna put money into my medical spending rather than trying to write it off on taxes at the end of the year, put it in pre-tax, then that lowers my taxes on that so I can work more overtime to be able to, you know, hit that sweet spot. And you're trying to play this juggling game to where if you just say, you know, almost every state, I think Florida, Oregon, and New Jersey don't have a sales tax. I know Florida and
Yeah,
Oregon don't.
something like that.
But you know, if you put a federal sales tax, so Michigan, we have a 6% sales tax on all non-essential goods. So basically anything that's not like food. And now tampons.
Tampons.
Yeah, they just passed that tampons is considered an essential and not taxed. But so anyway, non-essential goods, you get a 6% sales tax. Well, then you add another 5% sales tax on top of that for federal, which a lot of us that have vices like tobacco, we're used to paying that anyway. So you put another 5% on top of that, and then you don't take the money out of the people. How easy would tax season be?
That is the point. It should be as easy as possible.
You know, a flat
Th-
tax or a fair tax, you almost don't need an IRS.
you don't. That is the whole purpose of it, was to literally it would basically eliminate the whole internal revenues program. You don't need it if everyone is damned to pay a here. Here's your bill at the end of the year.
You know,
Boom, done.
and then if you're self-employed, holy shit, then you have to try to figure out what you're going to make in the future.
Exactly.
Every 3 months, this is what I made these past 3 months. This is what I'm planning on making those next months.
But that would eliminate a lot of the self-employment during doing that. That would allow people to create those small businesses to do stuff
Right.
to get those in. I understand during the pandemic, a lot of people have gone self-employed because can't leave your fucking house.
Can't leave your house, and now people are getting laid off left and right because they're not getting the Fauci ouchie.
Oh, God. So speaking of Fauci ouchie, do you see how people are all upset? I will say this: all the heavy right wingers are all upset that Trump is promoting the vaccine. There's not a time he didn't fucking promote the damn thing.
No, right
You
from the
have to
beginning he was.
understand, the only reason why we have the vaccine as early as we do is because he created Operation Warp Speed to give Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson the funding
and the leeway so that they have 5 to 13 years of testing.
Correct. He's never not promoted this vaccine. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. You're right. I am a person of science. I want to know the study. The study technically of the Moderna and the Pfizer actually doesn't end the testing of the trial until October of 2023. I wanted to wait till that trial was over. The human trial was over to see the study, to see how it was.
Right.
That was the reason why I didn't get it right off the bat. Until I was forced by my job. Unfortunately.
Which is the most god-awful thing, to hold somebody's job and livelihood over their head to get a medical procedure that you can't undo.
That violates the HIPAA laws in so many ways. It's ridiculous. Because people call us conspiracy theorists in a sense that, oh, there's not going to be a mask mandate. Oh, they'll never do a vaccine mandate. Now fucking look at them. You look at New York, Chicago, New York.
But the weird thing is the
California
left is not seeing it as a mandate. They're going, well, it's not a mandate. You just have a penalty if you don't do it. There's consequences for not doing it.
Well,
no,
look at California. Yeah, California, Colorado, Chicago, New York. You must have a vaccine passport to go anywhere.
You can't leave
in the States.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, how is that not a violation? Because that means you're just, hey, do you have herpes?
Right. I don't.
Do you have AIDS?
Yeah. Do you have AIDS?
No, that's just a sheer violation.
You know, and the thing
I don't want anyone to ever think that I'm telling them, no, don't get it because you don't know what's in it. No, I'm telling you, if you want to wait. You want to know what's in it. You want to know the science. Then wait. If you want to get it, then get it. That is your prerogative. That's your choice. I know me and Andy went back and forth a handful of times. I know he was fucking ecstatic that I got it because I have text messages that say that. But I didn't like being forced to do something that I didn't want to do.
Right.
I only did it because One, I didn't want to have to fucking move because I was going to have to leave the state that I'm in to go to a state that wasn't mandating it and
What's
finding a
even
new
weirder
job.
is you work from home.
That is the weirder part because in the mandate it says if you work from home you are exempt.
Yes.
But my employer was still forcing me to get the goddamn shot.
Right. I talked to a lot of my former colleagues
Work from home coworkers.
Yeah, work from home coworkers. We've worked from home. I worked from home from the time that I started at my old job until I quit. And they did too. And they were still forced. Who are they going to infect? What's the OSHA mandate? That the whole point of OSHA is that you don't infect somebody else. Who are they going to affect?
My problem is that OSHA's not even taking the reports and submitting the reports of the side effects that people are getting.
No. In fact, they have it that
do.
they don't have to do it until May.
Correct. Which is wrong because it's like if you get it, you have a side effect. Even if you report it, it's not going to show up. But it's like,
well, the thing is with OSHA, the way that they wrote it is, if your employer makes you take this and you have a side effect, that is considered an on-job injury. Yeah. However, the employer is not required to report anything until May of 2022.
So you basically can't claim workman's comp until May of 2022.
And that's only if you have something happen after May of 2022, not before.
It's fucking ridiculous.
So it's
you do know this is already gone to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has announced that they are going to entertain. Yep, they entertain this, and trust me, I will.
And they're entertaining oral arguments. It's not just submitted. They're actually having oral arguments. So
that's going to be that's going to be entertaining because Biden is hoping for the mandates to stick.
And the hard part with the Supreme Court, as it is right now, is we don't know what to expect from them. Because you have Roberts, who basically he doesn't want a split court ever. He wants it to be 9-0-8-1. He wants it to be because he thinks that gives it prestige. So then, the blue side of the court, they're going to vote for Biden. It doesn't matter what the arguments are, they're going to go for it. So then you have Roberts, who you don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah.
You have Kavanaugh, who believes in stare decisis, which means that it's already been decided. So if they bring up a previous case from 100 years ago, he might use that rather than saying, well, it's not right that they're doing it.
They're most likely, the last time this was ever done was during the Spanish flu back in the 20s.
1918
and
flu.
That's when they used the federal mandate for the flu shot.
It wasn't a federal mandate. No, it was a state mandate.
It was a mandate.
No, in fact, I don't even know if it was a state. It was in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if they're going to try to use that.
But, and then the other one is Amy Coney Barrett, who you think who claims to be a constitutionalist, yet a lot of her decisions make you wonder about how she can justify her thoughts in line with the Constitution. So you don't know where those three are going to stand. And those are the three that are going to make the difference. Three that are going to vote against it, that you're pretty much sure. Three that are going to vote for it. And then those three you don't know.
Yep.
So,
And then Biden's talking about looking into expanding the fucking Supreme Court to at least 13. I'm
if
like,
they pass the eliminating the filibuster, I can see them doing that before the year's end. They would have to do it before the year's end.
oh yeah,
And then if he does it before the year's end, what's to stop a Republican president from expanding it
they're
more?
not. That's
And
the
it's just
problem.
going to be ping ponging.
That's what Trump made during the debate. He said, "Oh, if you're going to pack the court, what's going to stop the next president from adding on more?" And then next thing you know, the Supreme Court, because you guys have to remember, the Supreme Court is a life
Yes.
position. The justice there, they are Supreme Court justice. They will live and die as a justice
Yeah.
before they are replaced. No one retires as a justice. They just
Very
die.
rarely do they do that.
Yeah, because it's a lifelong pay.
Right.
That is going to be the odds-on favorite of what could happen. God, I really hope it doesn't. It just needs to stay at 9. It's been 9 since its inception. I think it needs to stay there.
It was less than 9, I think, up until the late 1800s.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, it's been 9 this long, so leave it alone.
Right.
9 is a
Right.
good number.
Right. So, I think with that, why don't we take a look at some TikTok?
Oh yeah, we're gonna lighten up our mood. We're
Yes.
doing a TikTok
Yeah,
compilations.
we're gonna do our reaction to some TikToks on this. So,
God.
so here's the first one.
If you had 24 hours with me and I couldn't say no, what would we do?
All right, let me play that again.
If you had 24 hours with me and I couldn't say no, what would we do? If you had 24 hours with me and I couldn't say no, what would we do?
24 hours with her. Oh man, the thoughts that come to my mind. I'm thinking if I had 24 hours, I want to have her go out duck hunting with me and be the one to retrieve the ducks.
Question is, do we get to use her money?
No. We could just tell her what to do.
Okay. I didn't know it was can I max out her credit card and buy shit for my house?
Oh.
I got
actually I need you to help me put together this toy that my son got for Christmas.
I'm gonna go buy it. I'm gonna go buy a bunch of shit from IKEA. Because IKEA is all assembly is required. So good luck on that one. I'm gonna serve in here and eat my Swedish meatballs. I don't think they're even Swedish meatballs. I think they're just meatballs in some weird sauce.
I'm thinking 24 hours and she can't say no. If it's summer, can I have her cut my grass? Because I hate cutting my grass.
Yeah, cutting grass would work. Yeah. I will have her push mow my yard. I'm not giving her my fucking my lawnmower, my rider. Fuck that. No, you can push mow, bitch. Before anybody says I'm sexist. So no, I have never had a problem mowing my own grass. But if I can watch somebody
I'd love to have
I'll never say no. Yeah, you get 24 hours of me. I'm going to get my time out of you.
Yeah, exactly. We could be trimming the hedges. It's wintertime. Can you shovel my driveway?
Oh, dude, it takes me 4 hours to shovel my driveway. This is why I got a snowblower.
I hate. Well, I can't use a snowblower, so I have a gravel driveway, and I tried using a snowblower, and it just shoots gravel everywhere. Even though like I tried adjusting it up and stuff, and when you adjust it up, then
Yeah.
everything starts freezing underneath, and you have so. So I
Get a
found.
plow. Don't you, on your push mower, you should get a plow for it.
I
There you
thought
go.
about that. I've thought about that.
I used
Okay.
to do that when I had a gravel driveway. We had a
Um,
plow.
I had a friend
Or
that used to
powered
work
plow.
out at my gym, which is at my house, that used to plow driveways. So he had a plow on
Nice.
his truck. I'd always tell people when he's coming over to work out, I'm like, okay, nobody park in the driveway. And he'd come in and he'd scrape it all out and everything. I'm like, all right, now we can all park. Next one. Oh, Brandon.
Yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas as well.
Oh,
Merry
thank
Christmas, and let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. I agree.
You have to think he has to know what that fucking phrase means, right?
It's so there was a survey done, and 86% of people in the United States know what "Let's Go, Brandon" means.
Yes.
You can't say he doesn't know.
And it was a guy from Oregon too.
I know. That is just when I saw that, I'm like, did he really just insult himself? But now somehow the left is trying to take that back and say it's like some sort of compliment. It's like
No, they've been saying it's a right-winged racial slur on most media outlets, and I'm like, so we had no problem saying fuck Donald Trump, fuck the Orange Man, that was all okay. You had celebrities threaten to assassinate him, blow up the White House. Those are all terroristic threats.
yes.
But yet we can't say fuck Joe Biden
or
let's go Brandon.
which is a nicer euphemism for fuck Joe Biden. You know,
The
something that I
problem
can
is
say
the media
in front of my
created
head.
that. The media created Let's Go Brandon.
It's not even just that's the thing is it's not just an insult to him. It's because the media, because they had all them people chanting fuck Joe Biden, and that reporter going, oh, and they're saying from CNN, let's go Brandon.
So
We're
that's
making fun
that's
of the
how it
media
all
as
started.
much as but then for him to say it, it's just
It never surprises me. Oh, fucking
okay.
all right.
This one's a little bit longer. So this is why Chicago is going down the tubes.
Deposit it on your end by tomorrow. They should have the funds in there. I don't know.
Got to
But as
listen
of right now, they
carefully.
do not.
So you cancel my endorsement.
No, cancel our endorsement.
Okay.
because It's saying that we cashed it. So anywhere you go with it, they're gonna be like, no, you've already cashed it.
So you're saying the city of Chicago has no funds in its account.
At this time, in this account, no.
So I can't cash my paycheck.
Well, not here, because we have their account. We can actually see their account. If you go to another bank, they're not gonna be able to see that. So if you go to your bank,
Oh my
they might be able
God.
to do
I'm
it
sorry.
there.
I got to pause this. So that bank, so Chicago has no money in their account. They have paychecks. The city of Chicago. This woman's trying to cash her paycheck that she earned. This bank won't do it and said, because they have no money, we're writing it so that you cannot cash it here later on when they do have money. Then they said,
Go to a different
down
bank.
and fraudulently, knowing that there's no money in the account, cash the check.
I would. I'd go to my bank and be like, I need a paycheck deposit.
Because they can't see that account, the city of Chicago account, like we can, because it's a Chase account.
Chase Bank.
We don't know how they work. So that would be another option for you.
I'm just flabbergasted. Because Lori's
I'm
running around
flabbergasted
telling
too,
everybody they got to
lady.
get vaccinated or they're losing their jobs, and she doesn't even have money in my
When Lori
account
Lightfoot
so
is
that I
more
can cash
concerned
my
with bringing
check.
people to financial ruin
I
and
don't even
vaccine
have money,
mandates
and
than
I
making
can't even
sure
go do
her
my
employees
Christmas
can cash
shopping.
their checks the day after it was issued.
Wow, Lori, who voted Lori in office? Who voted her? I can't cash my check.
I'm so sorry. I don't know, maybe they're about to deposit it on your end by tomorrow. They should have the funds in there. I don't know. But as of right now,
Laura Lightfoot needs to be has to be disgusted because there's no way she's getting paid still.
Oh yeah.
She's
Oh
living
yeah.
in
She's
her
getting paid.
brownstone in Chicago. She's having the police department sit on her road, but yet the employees of the city can't fucking get paid.
For the work that they've done for the city.
I wouldn't go to work.
I wouldn't either. I mean,
I'd call it a strike. I'd be like, yeah,
Look-
good luck running the city with no one there to run it.
as the woman in there says, who the fuck voted for Lori Lightfoot? They're to blame. You know, it's like the people that in Detroit talking about Detroit going down the shitter. You guys keep voting in these people. Stop voting for them. But no, because these blue cities keep saying we're going to basically give you handouts over and over and over again, so people want the handouts. It's always funny when I hear people say, you're voting against your own self-interest. No,
Oh my God.
I'm voting against the best interest of everyone, not just something that's going to benefit me.
Like student loan forgiveness right now, everyone's upset that Joe Biden won't forgive loans,
Hey, I have a lot of loans out, student loans. I'd love to not have to pay them.
right? And I mean, I have student loans. Shit, I would love for them to go away, but also I knew that shit wasn't going to happen. Everybody keeps forgetting that goddamn town hall he had with Cooper, Anderson Cooper, when he said no, that he wasn't going to forgive student loans, and everyone's like, well, he campaigned that he was going to forgive student loans.
He has a 47-year history of lying to get elected.
You do realize Bill Clinton tried to work on getting actual student loan forgiveness. Joe Biden, while he was in Congress, said no and stopped it.
Right.
On 3 separate occasions. Joe Biden has made it difficult for people to even file bankruptcy to include their student loans in, because it happened 0.01% of the time.
And don't forget, he was in Congress at the time that they changed the laws on student loans so that you could not file bankruptcy.
He made sure that that's what he pushed through.
Yes. So you can't even, if you're in dire straits, file bankruptcy and get them removed. They're there for life.
Oh yeah, you're screwed. And I know. I got an email from Department of Education that the extension got pushed.
Yeah, it's till May now.
Till May 1st. And I was like,
so they
oh.
put an extra 3 months.
Yeah, the only reason why that got put in is because they got pressured because of the Omicron.
Which Omicron? It's so scary. It's so scary. Except that nobody's really dying from it.
Yeah.
So
what's the next letter they're supposed to go to? What is
Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta, Epsilon, Zeta, Eta, Theta, Iota, Kappa, Lambda, Mu, Nu, Xi, Omicron, Phi.
Phi?
Phi.
Phi.
Because they're going Greek alphabet, but they're jumping around, so.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, so the student, but like I say, the student loan things, I'd love that, but it won't happen. I'm gonna have to. It's gonna start back up. I'm gonna have to start paying it back. And I'm gonna pay it back for life. I mean, that's just the the way it goes. Unless I somehow start making a hell of a lot more money than I'm making now, and I can afford to pay more than the minimum every month. You know, I'm going to be, my student loans are pretty much right up there with my mortgage.
Yeah. About where.
But my mortgage costs me 4 times as much a month than my student loans. So that tells you right there, paying them off.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
go
so
to.
if you ever believe a politician is going to keep his word, just remember, let's go, Brandon.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's go to Kamala Harris.
We're looking at over 220 million Americans who just in the last several months died.
Did you see that number? I don't know where she got that from. I'll play it again.
CNN.
We're looking at over 220 million Americans who just in the last several months died.
220 million Americans in the last several months died. Did you realize that we only have a third of the country left? We're the fortunate
Thanos
third.
snap us? Did Thanos actually come and snap us?
That's basically what it would be if 220 million. There's roughly 350 million people in the U.S. 300, I think it's 330 citizens, and then however many million citizens. 220 million. You could think, okay, well, maybe she's talking about 220, but even that's not the amount of people that died. Because we're up to what, 700,000 now?
Yeah.
So I have no idea where she got her number from.
My thing is, I don't even know how she got fucking vice presidency. I'm sorry. She's dumber than a box of rocks.
Because she's a woman and she's a minority. That's the only reason. Biden even said he's looking for a minority woman.
Yeah. What was she was just on the Breakfast Club, right? Or whatever that one thing is, and he asked her, is Joe Biden the president or Joe Manchin the president? And she well, first the press release guards came in and was trying to be like, we're having a bad connection. We're gonna have to disconnect. And it's like, fucking lies. That's a lie.
That's so bad.
And then she goes, no, I can hear you. And then she goes, don't act like a typical Republican now. Joe Biden is the president, and I am Kamala Harris, and I am the vice. You said that with authority, like people doubt you, as said.
I think she has to convince herself that she's the vice president because she hasn't done jack.
Oh no!
She was supposed to do something with the border. She hasn't even been to the border. She doesn't do anything. She is literally like, when there's something important to be done, they send her across the world so that she's nowhere near it.
Oh yeah.
So, all right.
What about all those Afghan children that just came over and they're separated from their parents? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't fucking put kids in cages. We don't separate kids from their parents. That's a Trump thing. Fucking lies.
Right.
Fucking people are dumb. Swear to God.
They are. And if
and
you
mind you,
disagree with
Trump has never
us a
made
call.
some of the greatest decisions in his presidency, but he did his absolute best to do what he said he was going to do, and he started it. And I have a feeling if he had won office in 2020, I don't think people that were in the House or the Senate would be there right now.
No.
I think
Well,
Mike Pence would have
if he
even been
won,
fired.
if he won, they would have had another impeachment. So rather than the press saying the twice impeached, they would have said the third time, the fourth time, the fifth time impeached. As long as Nancy
Good
Pelosi
God.
is in
I
charge
think
of
they
the
need to
House,
fucking
they will impeach him
redeem
every
his
year.
impeachment because they've proven that none of those
Impeachments mean
fucking
nothing.
actually ever happened.
Impeachment, people need to realize impeachments mean nothing. They're political. That's why Nancy Pelosi literally impeached Trump twice over nothing that he did. And then I knew as soon as the Democrats took the House, I said before the year's out, they're going to have an impeachment trial. And lo and behold, that's exactly what they did.
They tried to impeach him like 6 days before he was out of office.
Yeah.
Oh, what? I will give Mitch McConnell that one thing. He kind of fucking held it to the very last minute.
Yeah.
After Trump was out of office, so they couldn't do anything.
It's because they were afraid of him. Because if he was impeached, he couldn't run again. If he was found guilty.
He was actually found
guilty. But the thing is an impeachment, all that's basically is someone being prosecuted and going to trial. The Senate is the trial.
Yep.
The impeachment is just the prosecution. And a prosecutor, as we learned with Kyle Rittenhouse, can prosecute anyone for anything. They can come up with any bullshit they want.
Did you see the prosecutor of Kyle Rittenhouse got 2 packages from Pennsylvania of gorilla shit?
No.
He received 2 boxes.
I wish I would have seen that. I wish there was a video of that.
Oh no, it was on TikTok. I saw it. He did like, yeah. Someone recorded it and put it on there, and I was like, that's fucking fantastic. 2 boxes, like one on one day and one on another day. Spent $40 to have animal shit. I think he said one time it was elephant. I was like,
elephant dung.
How would you know it's elephant? Have you seen elephant shit before? I mean, I've been to the zoo. I've seen piles of elephant shit.
What I'm still amazed is that he's still at that office. How is he still there after what the god awful the performance he put on?
That was a bad stage act of.
I mean, he was waving a freaking gun with his finger on the trigger at jurors.
Nobody knew that there was no bullet in that chamber. There may have no been clip in it, but there could have been a bullet in that chamber. What a fucking moron.
I know. Okay. All right. Let's go to this is how I've been feeling all day today.
You said you had a busy day today.
Yeah, I'm in ADHD paralysis.
What's that?
My brain physically won't let me do anything.
What? I thought you said you had a busy day today.
Yeah, I'm in ADHD paralysis.
What's that?
My brain physically won't let me do anything.
What caused it?
Sometimes nothing causes it, but today it's because I have a package that's coming at 8 p.m.
You can't do anything before that package comes?
Yeah, I like to call it my waiting mode.
So you're not just being lazy?
No, my brain's currently going like 1,000 miles per hour telling me I should be doing things, but can't.
So I got diagnosed with ADHD last fall. 39 years old. Lived my whole life with it. Didn't realize that a lot of the weird shit that I did is symptoms of ADHD, including the ADHD paralysis, where so basically what it is it's like your mind can't figure out like priorities. Like, okay, so this I have to do these 10 things. These are the most important that I have to do right now. And then I'll get to the other ones. Like in a normal person, that's what you do. No. when you get into paralysis, you have this is me today. I'm going through and I'm thinking, okay, I need to do this. I need to do this. I need to get this done. I need to do this. I need to go to practice. Practice, I have to go. I can't skip that. And I have my podcast at the end of the day. Everything in between, my mind is going, okay, I need to do all of this. And then what ends up happening is it's like a deck of cards that just keeps shuffling in your mind. And you're trying to figure out what to do. And you start thinking about how you're going to do it. And
I think of it as the Los Angeles Clover Highway, the big like 8 loops of that. That's how I've always imagined it. In midday traffic, where some of it's moving and then some of it's not moving, and it's like, this sucks. Yeah, no, I know exactly how that feels. It's never fun.
Now there is a flip side to that, which is called hyperfocus, which is a part of ADHD. See, everyone thinks ADHD is like you can't pay attention to what's going on in front of you. That's not what it is. It's that your mind can't regulate what to concentrate on sometimes, or it'll over concentrate on stuff. So yesterday I had to clean my barn, and instead of cleaning the whole barn like a normal person would, I got hyper focused on cleaning one section of the barn. One section. That one section is immaculate. But it took me all day because I got hyper focused on that. Lost track of time because you lose track of time easily. And all of a sudden, it's the end of the day and it's like, shit, I didn't get done what I needed to get done. So, ADHD, definitely when I'm on my meds, which I can't get right now because I need to get a new prescription. I need to find a new doctor to give that to me because my family doctor won't. That's what the Ritalin, or not the Ritalin, the stimulants do is basically it gives you that dopamine, that stimulation that, gets you out of this paralysis and stuff like that and helps you kind of rewire your brain a little bit. But without that, you basically go through these ebbs and flows of hyperfocus, no focus, paralysis, hyperfocus.
No, I haven't been on my ADHD medication in years. I've gotten off it only because I didn't have insurance and I just fucking didn't get back on it. I actually started trying to take out Alpha Brain. Have you?
I've heard Joe Rogan talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I looked it up and I was like, "This is interesting." So I was like, "Let's try this out." It works very similar to my ADHD medication. When I'm taking it, as long as I'm taking it regularly, I can get the focus. I can keep going. And it's like, this is all my ADHD medication is?
Generally not. It depends on, there's a bunch of different ones. I have
weird ADHD. With all the other crap that goes on, they don't mesh, so they'll snap and collide. And especially if insomnia kicks in, then it's just a 3-way fucking dance of
that's the other
nothing's
weird
getting
part.
done.
That's the other weird part is all of this stuff. And then tonight, and this happened last night, I go to lay down to go to sleep, and what happens? My mind starts
wandering.
Shut off. It won't shut off.
Yeah.
It's like that video of the guy playing banjo, and stuff like that. But then all of a sudden the guy playing banjo goes, "Hey, I wonder how this banjo works." And then he starts taking it apart. And then he goes, "Oh, hey, I wonder who made this part." And then he goes to the other side of the world to find the guy that made that part. And then that guy told him about the history of the banjo. And that's how my mind works, because it's just constantly going like from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. And you can't get it. And my wife is just like, "Well, just shut your brain down." And I'm like, my body can be dead tired. I cannot. So I end up sleeping on the couch a lot because I have to watch TV. I have to put something boring on TV. Has to be someone talking, and it can't be too interesting because that person talking
I think we've
short
had this
circuits my-
conversation before.
yeah, that short
I
circuits my
usually
brain.
watch MASH.
Yep.
I don't know what it is. Alan Ida as Hawkeye in MASH, even though that and Frank Burns, even though it'll keep my interest, but it's a focused interest to the point to where I'll lose focus on everything else, and then I'm
Yeah.
able to go to sleep. So I focus on sleep, which is weird.
I found the stuff with Neil deGrasse Tyson, the physicist. He has
Yeah.
that voice and he talks about the universe and stuff where I'm just interested enough that it calms my brain down, and he's got kind of that soothing voice, but it's not something where I have to pay attention and watch it. I can drift off to it. So I try to watch stuff that he does.
Then the fat person in me watches Triple D, Diners, Dive-Ins, and Drives at night.
Oh yeah, with Guy Ferrer.
Yeah. And so I'm like, I listen about food, and I tell my wife, is like, this is why I will never be skinny ever again. Not the fact that I don't go to the gym and work out anymore. It's just like I just truly enjoy eating food now.
Yeah.
So
okay. Another Lightfoot.
Sure.
Will not allow federal troops in our city. We will not allow federal troops in our city. We can't just allow anyone to come into Chicago, play police in our streets, in our neighborhoods.
1 year
So that was her last year.
later.
I have formally asked the Attorney General of the United States, Merrick Garland, to, with all deliberate haste, detail ATF agents to Chicago for 6 months so that we can increase the number of gun investigations and seizures.
And who would have predicted a spike in crime?
So she wants to
the city of Chicago has some of the strictest gun laws.
And they're not being brought in from out of state legally, oh, they're being purchased in Indiana. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're being purchased there illegally out of the back of cars from criminals.
That are coming from Indiana or Ohio or Michigan or wherever.
Well, they're not buying them legally and then selling them illegally, and
yeah,
they're
buying them illegally. Period.
They're illegal. Period. It's not like I'm buying them in Michigan and going to Chicago and selling them.
Which is illegal to do. Period.
Right. So, but the whole point is if all of this, what is it? San Francisco did the same thing. They got rid of all the cops, and now they're asking for federal assistance because they can't police.
No, she's put money back into the budget to start rehiring cops because they're tired. And then Pelosi goes, I remember Pelosi came out, she goes, who would have thought that we would have had to bring in more, that we would defund the police, but yet crime would return?
Everyone?
What?
Everyone who isn't psychotic. Okay. So think about New York in the 80s and 90s up until Giuliani became mayor of New York City. New York was a cess. Like, it was so bad they made movies like Escape from New York, and that it got so bad. Like, they were making movies like that. Giuliani, the way that he cleaned up the city, he flooded it with police officers.
Oh, yeah.
And then he had the stop and frisk. And guess what? Crime plummeted because you have more cops, you have less crime. So,
Exactly.
and the opposite is also true. They're finding that out everywhere that they did it. LA, they're finding it out there. Minnesota, Minneapolis, they're finding it out there. After the George Floyd thing, all of them, they're finding out the same thing. Okay. I got to talk about this real quick. So before we go on to that last one, there's two things. First off, I'm calling this clip Crazy Bitch. And this is a woman that is misgendered my wife in the comments, which was kind of funny, and then blocked me. But not before I downloaded her stuff. And she claims, but if you look, she's a very, very, very liberal reverend that from doesn't really follow the Bible. But this you got to watch her somehow reasoning on this.
Oh God.
I was just in a very uncomfortable situation, and the shirt I'm wearing made it so much worse. I live in a very blue area of Michigan, but 30 minutes away it goes red real quick. And there's this restaurant I like to go to, and usually it's empty. It's just like this little thing in the town. I've seen it busy once. There was a wedding reception there. I pull up and it is packed, like no parking spots. I walk in expecting it to also be packed with people that came out of these cars, but there's only people at the bar. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, they do have a downstairs like area. Maybe they're all playing pool, I guess. So I find a place to sit. It's in this like awkward corner. It's the only thing that's open, and everyone has to walk past you, and you like get bumped a lot. That's why people don't sit there. But I was like, whatever, I'll sit there. And as I'm sitting there, I hear people around me go, are you here for the meeting too? Are you here for the meeting? Are you here for the meeting? Are you here for the meeting? What meeting? It's not AA. They have booze at this place. I don't think the Freemasons meet in like restaurants. What is going on? Finally, someone says, no, I'm not here for the meeting. What's happening? And they say, oh, it's a political meeting. Like secretive political meeting. Well, there might be a reason why a more progressive group in this area of Michigan keeps their meetings secret, but I'm not getting that vibe off the people around me, if you catch my drift. I'm like, okay, cool. So 7 o'clock hits, everybody goes downstairs. The bartender and the hostess and I are the only ones there. We're like, what just happened? I'm like, if they start chanting and playing drums, I will leave without paying. Like, I'll come back tomorrow. Finally, someone comes in late and says, I'm here for the We the County meeting. We the County, what is that? So I look it up online and I find their website and I'm like, immediately no. I am out. Yeah, check please. No. The website says things like, we are the small business patriots and churches of the county taking back the government. We will stand against all medical mandates, including vaccines and microchips. As if those are the same. I was like, nope, I do not want to be here when these drunk people come up from their meeting downstairs. I do not want to be here. So I leave. I'm like, I'm out. I got to go. I did pay. I had enough time for that. Then I realized that the shirt I'm wearing, while everyone is walking past me and bumping me, says, unlearn your toxic beliefs. It's a miracle I'm alive.
Because a bunch of parents and business owners were going to kill her?
You know the color of her shirt and how she looked? She reminded me of Squidward from SpongeBob SquarePants. So I'm gonna, even if I can say something here, the Constitution says we the fucking people, or well, take out the fucking, we the people.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? I mean,
so basically,
so
she's so close-minded that she somehow saw anybody that was against vaccine mandates. I doubt it's had anything to do with microchip, because I've been to We the County meetings and We the People meetings in my county.
Sure.
And you know what we do? We talk about getting FOIAs from the Department of Health. We talk about getting FOIAs and getting information from the county boards, from the school boards, from, basically that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a meeting of people and parents getting together to,
getting
talk about
petitions signed,
get petitions
Freedom
signed
of
and
Information Acts
yes,
requested, figuring out as a group, hey, this is what we need to do together.
right.
Because the
Who's
more
going
we
to
are
stand
together, the
There's
louder
a
our
co-
voices.
there's a board meeting coming up. We need at least 10 people to stand up and talk. And this is what we want to talk about this board meeting. Everyone gets, 2 minutes, so let's coordinate what we're going to say. There's no violence. There's nothing violent. This woman is violent in what she's talking about.
Her shirt offends me. Unlearn your toxic lifestyle. Most progressive leftists are the most toxic I have ever met. I can't even. There's people that I work with who are hardcore Democrats, and I was like, look, we can have a conversation. Fine. But if you start getting hostile, I'll never talk to you again. I'll never talk to those people about politics. Even though I was like, here, this, and this. Oh, that's not how I feel. And I'm like, who did I ever say I'm asking about your feelings? You're giving me feelings. I'm giving you answers.
I'm giving you facts.
Facts don't give fucks about feelings.
Right.
My wife got a cricket. I'm getting that sticker. Facts fuck your feelings. Or something like that. I'll figure it out.
So anyway, but it gets better. So my wife actually replied to her and said, this is exactly what she said. No. She said, why not open a dialogue? Are they really against leftists or Dems? There's a lot of division on both sides. Her reply,
she's not wrong.
Her reply to my wife was, ladies, anyone want to tell him? My wife's reply, is dialogue a bad thing? I'm genuinely curious. And she goes, what about this situation sounded like dialogue would be safe for me? Everything? My wife, it didn't sound unsafe. That's why I'm asking. She said it felt unsafe. What was unsafe? What was unsafe? And then I actually pressed and I said, came on later and said, did you really just assume someone's gender? And her reply to me was, I did, and it seems I have assessed the situation correctly.
You're a bitch.
This is supposedly, her name is Rev Bethany on TikTok. At Rev Bethany. She misgendered my wife.
All right. Hold on.
And then said that she was correct in her misgendering my wife.
Rev Bethany is her TikTok.
I can't look her up anymore.
God.
She blocked me.
All right. So she has the LGBTQ flag as a ribbon, like a
like the
scarf.
robe that reverends wear. Yes.
Yeah. On top of her black. She's a she's Presbyterian. That's fucking Catholic light. She's a bitch. Black Lives Matter, LGBT, and trans is divine. I need to go grab my Bible and grab Old Testament.
Well,
I grew up Roman Catholic. And if you know what a Roman Catholic is, we don't fucking deal with the New Testament. It's all Old Testament.
Well, remember in the New Testament in Matthew 7:15, it says, "Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravenous wolves."
Oh no, you're not wrong. Yes. Psalms is a fucking will disintegrate her. I can't remember. There's a handful of them. I gotta pull. I have them all bookmarked in my Bible. Yes, the crazy guy has a Bible. There's God owes me. But I will. I don't care what you are, who you are, how you want to be. You be you.
But the
I've
thing
never. I guess we grew up in an era where your thick skin turned into brittle flesh because no matter what you say, you hurt somebody's feelings.
Yeah. And the thing is something like this, my wife, I read to you exactly what my wife said. She's like, why not open a dialogue? Why not talk to them? Jesus sat with murderers.
Judas.
Well, Judas, but I mean, Jesus entered and talked with the people that didn't agree with him. She can't even do that at a bar. She couldn't even sit and keep her mouth shut and listen to what they had to say. Maybe it would open her eyes. No. She had it preconceived in her mind that she was in danger because they didn't agree politically with her. And I'm sorry, you want to talk about the difference between people that are on the right and people on the left? That is the biggest difference. I don't fear talking to anybody that doesn't agree with me. I will talk to people that don't agree with me. Someone like her will not even, she sees it as a physical threat. Are you watching her
trans
videos?
Lady? I think she was a dude who became a woman.
Maybe, I don't know.
Because I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't care if that is your cup of tea. If you feel like you're a woman and you want to be a dude, or vice versa, great. That is your choice. I will never say you can't do that. But don't attack my friends and don't think I can't say anything because the asshole in me will come out and be like, "Hey,
just
Squidward."
remember, she evidently she's pretty quick with the block. She won't talk to people. She'll just block you if you don't parrot what she thinks. So.
Oh no, I'm gonna throw scripture at her. She wants to be a pastor. I'll throw scripture at her.
So. Okay. Let's talk spoilers.
We're gonna talk. All right. So for everyone that's gonna about to listen to this episode, that's awesome. Thank you. If you have not seen Spider-Man: No Way Home, this is your time to end. Because we are going to talk about the movie.
And then come back and listen after you've seen it.
Oh yeah, come back, listen, come in, put your thoughts in. If you have listened, great. Listen in. We'll talk about it because I'm going to talk about. This is going to be a little bit of a twist of Spider-Man: No Way Home, the ending of Hawkeye.
Yes.
And the prediction of a series that's about to come out for Disney Plus that ties into No Way Home that I don't think anybody realizes yet. Except for probably a few comic book nerds. So this is your time. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Talk about Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Yes. Okay.
Fucking fantastic movie.
Oh my God. I saw it last week with my son. And I think I literally watched half the movie with my jaw up and going, oh.
I was very impressed of how it went, how it all started. William Dafoe returning as the Goblin.
Yeah. Having all of them return as their characters.
William Dafoe, I found out, they did an interview with him about him coming back as Green Goblin. He said his only request is that he get one, same glider, same suit, and he actually does his stunts. And he's in.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I was like, 66-year-old man on a glider flying around. Fuck yeah, why not? Doc Ock returning. Fuck, now I'm drawing a blank of his actual name. Fucking didn't even miss a beat. But I love how they made it to where it was like he picked up right after he drowned in the harbor in New York.
Yeah, that's the part that confused me, because don't forget, at the very end of Spider-Man 2,
he
the
died.
Sam Raimi. Well, not just that he died, but he switched. He beat the attached to him. What that make him? But he beat that. He overpowered that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they bring him over. Then that's what made me wonder: did they take him right before he did that?
Yes, that's what it looks like. Is that the arms were still talking to him when he came through, because he was still looking for the element.
Yes,
to make the living sun.
Because he wanted to know what Spider-Man did with it.
Yep. And then you had Sandman. Sandman, he just didn't want to fucking be there. He just wanted to go home.
And don't forget, Sandman, when you first meet him, he's friends. He helps Spider-Man. He helped Spider-Man.
Helps Spider-Man capture Electro.
Yeah, Max.
And
then he does a like in that same scene.
He's like,
right,
wait, what happened there? No, okay. So overall, I thought it was great because, all right, so based off the one-day comic, Peter Parker goes to Doctor Strange, asks for everybody to forget who he was as Spider-Man. And then tries to make a twist to the spell about, Aunt May, MJ, Nev can still remember, because it was being modified in mid-creation,
rather than telling them ahead of time, hey, I want everybody except these 5 people.
Yeah, it screwed up and broke the multiverse, where people were
anybody that knew who he was.
Spider-Man's villains were coming through mainly
because they knew, only the ones that knew who he was.
My thing is, at the end of Amazing Spider-Man 2, Electro did not know Spider-Man was Peter Parker yet. So I'm assuming Electro survived the grid explosion and then later found out who he was.
He did have different hair and everything.
Well, yes, yeah, because I guess like
Jamie Foxx,
like
Jamie Foxx didn't have the long hair and anything anymore. So
no, they compilated that the way the electrical currents were between the multiverses, he got out of that blue look and actually got a physical form because of it.
Yeah.
So fine. I didn't care for the blue, that the fact that they let Jamie Foxx be Jamie Foxx's look, I thought was more impressive. I thought that was a great thing.
Yeah.
And then you had the Lizard, Doc Connors.
Yes.
But the thing is, Doc Connors never died. At the end of Amazing Spider-Man, Doc Connors was in jail, cured already.
So, and before he climbed the building and tried to release everything.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, when Okay. So now we've gotten to the point all of them are there. Fucking Aunt May dies because Tom Holland's Spider-Man is now taking the advice of Aunt May, who is Marissa Tomei, and fucking I would kill for to be my Aunt May in a heartbeat.
Oh my God, she is so beautiful
but
in Spider-Man.
I'm sorry. I mean, you can't have a hot mom or hot aunt in that kind of a movie with a bunch of nerds. That's just
You know
set
that's
up.
why they put him there.
Oh
Why
yeah,
they put her
no,
there.
exactly.
So
And then like, oh yeah, we need to fix them because they figured out they all die by Spider-Man's hand.
yeah, and so
in some way,
that's the
shape,
thing
or
is that
form.
it's so if they were all sent back just as things were, then because they got pulled right before their death, or I guess in the case of Connors, right before he was cured.
He went, yeah.
Then they all died and they don't want to die. So this is the only part that confused me, because if he cures them here and then sends them back, in the case of a lot of them, like Green Goblin, I'm assuming that they took right before he got stabbed, during the final fight.
So there's a scene I didn't notice until now, in the very first Spider-Man. When Goblin is shooting at Mary Jane on the stone pedestal, then they're trying to knock or whatever. In the background is another Goblin over Norman Osborn's shoulder. There's another Green Goblin standing there.
I'd have to watch it.
I didn't notice that until now. Someone posted that and kind of just like paused it on there, and I was like, fucking bullshitting me. No. So I actually went back, pulled I have the movie, so
I was going to say I'm going to have to watch it because I have the
fucking
DVDs.
fast forwarded to that scene, and I'd be fucking damned if there's not two damn Goblin helmets. But the other Goblin helmet is further back. I don't know if it was done by accident or if this was a planned future event to try to bring Norman back in some way, shape. So that's still
in all reality,
speculation.
from what I remember, I didn't pay as much attention to the comic books as I did the 90s cartoon.
No, yeah.
The 90s cartoon, the Green Goblin was a hell of a lot more dangerous than the Hobgoblin.
See, that's like Ned becomes Hobgoblin in the comics. I do love that scene. We'll get to that in a second. So after the kibosh of curing everybody, they did cure Ock, and Ock went back to being Ock, which was fantastic. And then Norman let the Goblin take over, and then next thing you know, shit went to hell. Aunt May dies, and giving the actual speech of that Uncle Ben gives to all the other Peters: with great power must come great responsibility. It's always been a catalyst of Spider-Man. My question is, where the fuck is Uncle Ben at? My only thing is, because the Avengers were here in this universe, I don't think this Aunt May actually was ever had an Uncle Ben.
I don't think she did. I always assumed this Aunt May never married. There was no Uncle Ben.
Yeah. So, and then, all right, so Ned, because we all know Doctor Strange is stuck in the Mirrorverse, which is, I think, hilarious.
Talk about the Mirrorverse fight. That was the most awesome thing. where
this is nothing but right angles. I'm awesome at geometry.
It's a Fibonacci circle.
Yeah, and I was like, I never thought of that until he called it out, and I was like, it fucking is.
I know. As soon as he called that out, I'm like, holy shit, it really is.
And then he's sitting there reciting the fucking formulas, and I'm like, that's right. Well, that's right. Yep, that happens.
And then it closes in around around Doctor
Yeah, and
Strange.
it's like
as it
Doctor
closes in.
Strange is sitting there stuck over the Grand Canyon, attached to fucking scaffolding and rocks. I'm like, oh, yep, that fucking happened. Then that's how Ned got a hold of the magic finger bracelet.
Yes.
And
and evidently he's
great.
a natural at it.
Evidently, because he's sitting there in the room going, bring me Peter Parker or find me Peter Parker, whatever he said. And then
he
Andrew
just raises his
Garfield,
hand and
it
just
then
opens.
Spider-Man pops through.
From Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange and everybody else had to work pretty damn hard to get that thing to work.
Yeah, right. So that's why I love the comment near the end. Oh, you made a portal. I was like, I had a feeling he was like, we're gonna talk later. I was like, man, no. Okay, so first introduction, next Spider-Man was Andrew Garfield. And he goes through it, he just rips off his mask. I am Peter Parker. I am Spider-Man. In my universe. I was like, why did you take off your fucking mask? And then he's doing the whole sticking to the roof and
jumping
everything,
up
gets the
and,
cobweb,
and he's
yeah.
like, can you get that cobweb while you're up there? And
Yeah, right. And then he goes, all right, well, then let's try to get another Peter. Fucking Andrew Garfield says it perfectly. That's rude. Well,
and then Tobey Maguire comes through. What
that was the best moment.
When Toby he like comes through and he's like, hello.
Yeah. Like he already knew Ned's mom. Like he's like, oh hi. I've seen you before. So he is at because
this is the weird part. Okay, so it takes the villains before they die, like at a main point, but it takes both Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man from years in the future after everything.
Yeah. So that's the fun. That's the
even Tobey Maguire in one scene when they were making the antidote says, I have been working for years trying to get this antidote, which again makes you wonder.
Thought about it for years.
Or thought about it
for years. My thing is that if he is thinking about it, that means a version of the Goblin has returned in his
one of them,
store.
either Green or Hob.
I think it's Green. I don't think Hobgoblin, because there's no Ned, so no one's ever actually become Hob.
His friend became Hobgoblin.
Harry? No, he became another. He became Green. He was still a Green Goblin. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He didn't have the yellow mask, did he?
No. So I thought it was great. Then next thing you know, Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire have their little web shoot fight. And Tobey Maguire knew exactly where to hit Andrew Garfield's web shooter too. Like, gotcha, bitch. And I was like, of course, they were the ones to know where Tom Holland would have gone if sad or need to clear his head. And that proves right there, one, this whole movie proves that Andrew Garfield should have had a third movie, that he was a good Spider-Man.
Andrew
It's just
Garfield was an awesome Spider-Man.
the writing sucked.
Yeah. Tobey Maguire, I loved the original Tobey Maguire when they came out because there was nothing to compare it against.
Yeah. So continuing on, they have their spats and they figure everybody out. They talk about Uncle Ben and they're all like dumbfounded. Tom Holland's like all dumbfounded, like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And then they say the line that Aunt May said, and they're like, oh yeah, Uncle Ben said that line. And it was like, then they fucking start doing their Spider-Man gig. They start going, they come up with their ideas for each individual person. And then Ned asked them, hey, do you have a best friend? And they're both like, yeah. They died in our arms.
Yeah.
After they tried to kill us. He's like, oh. And I love it. Greatest line. He walks with it, goes, I promise I will not become a villain and try to kill you. I was like, yes.
I still love the part. Okay, this is jumping ahead a little bit. I love the part where they have the discussion about the web shooters. And then they ask,
oh yeah, I was gonna get back to that where they're like, and he's like, because Ned brought over the net cartridges, right? And he goes, "Why do you need web cartridges? Don't you?" He just shoots it, and they're like,
"Oh, does that come out anyway?" So this is the part that has been a since the
that
Sam
was
Raimi
near
movies
the
came
end
out.
where they were going to that discussion of, where does it? Because in the classroom. They were amazed that it came out of his arm. And then when they got to the Statue of Liberty, I love the brotherly bond between Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. And this
the
whole
backcracking
scene.
and everything.
Oh yeah, he goes, do you know why Tobey Maguire has a bad back? Do you remember?
When he tried to hold up the train?
No! His web stopped working and he fell like
that's right. And he
stories
pulled
and
it
slammed into a
backwards.
car.
Yeah.
So it's like that's coming back, and then they were talking about the organic web. They're like, oh, he goes, oh, I don't breathe. I just breathe. I just shoot webs. Tom Holland goes, does it come out anywhere else or just the wrists?
So that's a throwback. Go ahead.
Yeah, because it's like, he goes, that's kind of personal. And it's like, we can't do that.
So that's a throwback to a joke of when Sam Raimi's came out, that it shot out of his wrist and everyone's going, but wait a minute, real spiders, it comes out of their butt.
Yep.
So in reality, Spider-Man should have been turning, and there's all these memes of him turning around and shooting webs out of his ass.
Yeah. Yep. And then they were talking about the web block. And then that made me remember he attempted to web sling and he was in midair. Nothing came out. He went straight down and crushed this car. He's like, oh, my back. I'm like, get it. That's why his back is fucked up. And then they were talking about, then Tom Holland goes, so what are the weird villains, bad guys he goes, well, you met some of them. And then
they talked about Rhino.
We talked about Rhino. And then Maguire talked about Venom.
Venom. Yep.
Right. And then Holland goes, oh yeah, I fought an alien here on Earth and in space.
And they're like, he went
purple.
To space?
Yeah.
I love that.
And then Andrew Garfield goes, well, I feel lame. All I fought was a guy in a rhino suit.
Yeah.
All right, so Tobey Maguire comes, can we rewind the whole lame talk? You're an amazing Spider-Man. So he played on the title
yeah.
of the Amazing Spider-Man. because my theory is we'll get to this in a moment. The third movie was supposed to have Venom, Tom Hardy's Venom.
So that takes us, before we get to that.
I said we'll get to that's, but it got cut because they were moving to Marvel, so that kind of sucks. But then they did. Then fucking Holland was like, I know how to work as a team. I was a part of the Avengers, and they're like,
"Is that a
that's
band?
great? A band? Who are the Avengers? What? Earth's Mightiest Heroes?" I was like, because Tom Holland doesn't realize the
multiverse
Avengers
doesn't have them. Yeah,
doesn't exist or never came together in their universes. So that's been funny. So they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this, and this, and then all fucking like they just get the shit kicked out of them right in the beginning.
Yeah.
As in Spider-Man fashion, because Spider-Man never fights. It never turns out right the first time around. It's always like the second or third time that they finally get it right.
You know, in the one thing that I do like about this too with Tobey Maguire is that wrote him for Sam. Everyone knows one thing about Spider-Man is his quips. He's got quips for everything. He's constant, and Tom Holland's got them. Andrew Garfield's got them.
I think out of all three Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield has the best quips.
Oh yeah, definitely.
As Spider-Man,
but
they have the best. He had the best lines, but he just had a shitty writer for the movie.
But then, Tobey Maguire never had them.
No, he didn't have that. He had some, but he didn't have he didn't have near as many.
Tobey Maguire was too much of a morose Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And in this one, and I can't remember the quips, but Tobey Maguire actually was able to use some of the Spider-Man quips.
Yeah, he was knocking them out left and right.
Yes.
It made that scenes so much better. I have a question though. Who the fuck gives the Statue of Liberty Captain America's shield?
So I need to go back when it comes out and watch that, because there was in the newscast where they were talking about near the beginning about putting his shield on the Statue of Liberty.
I had a feeling they probably did talk about it in the movie right in the beginning that the shield was there.
Yeah.
But overall, why the fuck would you put Cap's shield?
Yeah, they talked about like the mayor or something like that dedicating. And so because the shield is now the symbol of hope or the symbol of freedom. And
yeah.
So but I have to go back and watch to see if I remember correctly what was said. So those that are listening that are going, Jason, you're full of shit. I might be remembering things wrong. But now some of the best things that I remember or that I loved. We all know what happened to Gwen Stacy in The Amazing Spider-Man and in the comics. When yeah. So when MJ was falling at the Statue of Liberty, you can see Andrew Garfield jump down and he almost did the web sling again with her and then pulled back, grabbed her, and then slung up instead.
Yeah.
Because in my
that brought a tear to my eye because it was like he was correcting a wrong.
Yes.
Tom Holland just lost his aunt. He didn't want to have to go through losing MJ.
Well, he
all
learned
the same fucking day.
He learned that his web is not a bungee cord.
Yeah.
But the way that he did it, and here's what I love is when he grabbed her and he slung up, you can actually see him lowering her a little bit to take some of that tension when it caught, so that she didn't, he kind of acted, he was the buffer in there, he was the shock absorber.
Yep.
So I love that. My 10-year-old son loved that. He actually looked at me and goes, he did it right this time. It helped that they had a flashback to that scene not long before that, when they were all on talking about losing someone. So that I love that. Again, we talked about shooting the webs out of the butt part. I like that. My favorite part, though, was right at the beginning, near the beginning, when he meets Matt Murdock.
Yes. I completely skipped over him being arrested, and Matt Murdock is his lawyer and got him off on technicalities. And it is Charlie Cox from the Daredevil series from Netflix. Therefore, it is now the Netflix series. Daredevil is now canon to Marvel.
Which it always kind of... Daredevil and the Defenders always talked about the incident.
Oh, yeah.
But just to prove that he's Daredevil, a brick comes through the window and he just reaches straight out. So
I'm a
Tom
really
Holland's
good lawyer.
ready to catch it, and he just reaches. Yeah.
His comment is, "I'm a really good lawyer."
Yeah. So
and
so that's definitely one of my my favorite parts. I do like the fight between him and Doc Ock on the bridge. And his suit, he pulls out the death mode where the legs come out the side or kill mode.
Yeah.
Even though he doesn't,
when the Iron Spider legs came out of his suit, yeah.
He goes he uses that, and then he actually takes over because Doc Ock tries to absorb his nano
the nanotech. Yeah, so the suit was able to Bluetooth to a new device.
Yep.
Which I was like, new device. Fucking, he's got his arms. And then he hooked up to him and then literally held Doc Ock in the same place, which was fantastic.
And then the whole
hearing
beginning,
the Goblin on the bridge was one of the most back chilling laughs I've heard in.
And then when he goes to Doctor Strange to do the spell, and Wong is there, and they ended up it's all full of snow because a portal opened, and that there's
Siberia. It was attached to Siberia, and a winter storm blizzard came through.
Yeah, but you have Wong, who basically is running back and forth, which, if you remember the 10 Rings, Wong is looking pretty important to the new Avengers because
he's the new Sorcerer Supreme.
Right.
Well, as Strange said, he got it on technicality because Strange was blipped for 5 years.
Right. So I like the.
Hey, but
I
at
like
least
all
with
that.
10 Rings, we figured out what happened to Abomination.
Yes.
Wong beat the shit out of Abomination with his own hand, which was great. But
and then the after. Okay.
Yeah.
So one of them was basically a preview for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Correct.
That was just a preview. The one that I really liked was as Venom.
You mean Tom Hardy?
Tom Hardy. Thank you.
Tom Hardy.
Jeff Hardy is the wrestler.
Yeah.
Tom Hardy as Venom in
In the
I'm assuming
cutscene.
Mexico because he's speaking Spanish.
I think he's in Tijuana.
Okay. And
he's at a bar.
He's at a bar, basically. He's drinking and he's talking to the symbiote. And the bartender. And the bartender was talking about the aliens that came and stuff. And he's like, I know aliens. And
they want to eat you and blah, blah, blah.
And so he says, we need to go meet this new Spider-Man. Like he was pissed for some reason. The symbiote was pissed. And they need to go. Before he was able to do that, he got basically blipped back to his universe, except
a piece of the symbiote stayed.
Right.
So that's what takes me into this. So there's an upcoming series that they're working on Disney Plus called Secret Wars. So the original, you remember the previous Fantastic Four movies that Fox did with
yes.
The guy who played Reed Richards has already been greenlit to return as Mr. Fantastic.
Oh, nice.
For Secret Wars. For the Illuminati portion of it. And there's a handful. So they are picking from Fox, all the different series that Disney has now acquired, and hinting at Deadpool. I mean, really hinting at him, and it's like, just fucking say it.
Yeah.
But being at the fact that the symbiote is there, and they've already stated that Spider-Man is due to be in Secret Wars, means we are going to see another symbiotic Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Eventually. So, but this gets me also into Hawkeye, because at the end of Hawkeye, because this kind of links to what happened at the very end of Spider-Man. Because he's talking to Kate about being a young vigilante, not doing a blah, blah, blah. You would think, oh, he went toe-to-toe with Spider-Man at the end. Hawkeye happens years after No Way Home.
Right.
So
it takes place in 2023, I think.
Yeah. So Tom Holland told Doctor Strange to go ahead and have them forget who Peter Parker is. So then there's only anybody on Earth would forget who Peter Parker is. The one person that won't forget who he is Nick Fury. Why? Because he's not on Earth.
Oh, that's right. He's up in space.
He's been in space for the last year.
What about Captain Marvel?
Neither would Marvel would remember who he is. The Guardians would remember who he is. Thor would remember who he is.
Oh yeah, because
they're not on Earth.
Right.
So that's where Falcon, the Winter Soldier, Black Panther, all will forget who Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Is it shitty that they're basically starting him over? Yeah. But now they're really able.
It kind of takes them into what Peter Parker has to become. Should be.
Yeah.
Because Peter Parker always lived in Queens. He always had to have the shitty hotel and be a loner.
So I was just getting to that Queens part. I'm glad you said it. So Jamie Foxx, when he got cured, he told him and Andrew Garfield were talking. He goes, well, you're Queens and yada, yada, yada. I thought you'd be black. There has to be a black Spider-Man out there. I was like, I bet they're going to hint to Miles.
Yeah.
Miles Morales.
Yep.
I believe Tom Holland's Spider-Man One, mainly because of the school, because that school actually resonates with Miles Morales. Midland High is where where Peter Parker and Miles Morales actually meet in the comics. So I believe that they will end up surfacing Miles in this because they already greenlit next 3 movies.
They did, yes. 3 more. And don't forget, Spider-Man in the first week hit $2 billion.
Oh God,
worldwide.
Damn, it did.
Like, fuck COVID. Everyone.
It was like, fuck COVID. We're gonna go see Spider-Man.
Exactly. So I think here's the thing with the Secret Wars. And I love that that storyline. Secret Wars also brings in X-Men.
Yes.
So, and I kept thinking, how are they going to bring X-Men? Has to come from another world, until you watch, and it dawned on me not that long ago when I was rewatching Endgame. And in Endgame, when they went back to like 1960 or 1970, and Iron Man meets his dad and all that, and Agent Carter is there, and when Captain America was hiding from her, you hear that she's going, she has to get General, what's his name?
General Stryker.
Stryker, thank you. General Stryker, and that they're all of a sudden fighting somebody that is bringing down lightning on them. Well, it's not Thor.
Storm.
Yeah.
I mean, the mutants are there. I think this is going to be their way, and with the Multiverse of Madness happening with Kane from Loki, is going to really, really change the atmosphere of how Marvel is seen, because it's really going to help all those acquisitions that Marvel and Disney have done with Paramount. And
I would love to see Deadpool become a part of the
I
Marvel.
want Deadpool to take Stan Lee's cameos.
Oh God, that would.
But I think that would be. I mean, not only him being in the movie,
but I know just having Deadpool become a part of the MCU and have to battle with everyone else.
That's the thing. Everyone forgets that Spider-Man and Deadpool used to have like the funniest clip sessions.
Yeah. And
in the comics.
And there is a comic where not Thor, Hulk tears apart Wolverine. I remember him ripping Wolverine in half. And Wolverine basically having to claw back to his other half and grow, and heal back together. And then there's another one where he fights Deadpool, and he literally tears Deadpool apart into a bunch of tiny little pieces, and Deadpool regrows himself from his hand.
Yep. Yeah, I remember. They actually did if you watch Disney Plus, there's an actual, they have the cartoon series of Hulk versus Wolverine, which Deadpool is involved also, and fucking Hulk just beats the shit out of Deadpool. So this upcoming year is going to be interesting with Marvel, because Tobey Maguire is getting a 4th Spider-Man movie as
Is he
Old
really?
Man. Yeah. Sam Raimi's doing a 4th Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie.
God, I hope they do another Andrew Garfield one.
That has been everybody's want after what happened, was because the Spider-Man 3, the Amazing Spider-Man 3 was supposed to come out in the spring of 2019 and was kiboshed right before filming. Because it was supposed to have
because number 2 came out in 2014 or 16.
16.
Okay.
No. So no, it was 16. So no, it was supposed to be 2018, the third Amazing Spider-Man. Because they were a couple years apart. They were having delays with not with scripts. They couldn't get the script written correctly. And then the whole kibosh happened when Marvel was talking to Sony about using Spider-Man, but they didn't want to use Andrew Garfield. So that's why they had to create a whole new Spider-Verse again. That's why they squashed it. Which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But I believe Andrew Garfield deserves his third movie.
What I love about it now,
but
set up, one of the big problems that people had was, oh, Tobey Maguire is Spider-Man, and then Andrew Garfield comes in and goes, who the hell is Andrew Garfield? Tobey Maguire is Spider-Man. And then Tom Holland comes in and who the hell, we got these two already, and now we got a third. Now that they actually set up the multiverse, now they can have their own movies.
All three.
Yeah.
So the funny part about Secret Wars is the hint at, because they were originally supposed to, Tobey Maguire originally, from what I found out, wasn't supposed to survive the knife stab from Goblin. He was supposed to have died on the shield. But since the movie did so well, they kept him alive because supposedly all three are supposed to return for Secret Wars.
Oh.
So we possibly, cross my fucking fingers.
Oh, I don't, hold on.
This may not be the last time we have seen Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in the spider suit. I want to give Andrew Garfield also props. He did his damnedest to make sure that nobody knew he was in the fucking movie.
I know.
Until the movie actually premiered.
I know.
All the way up, because his name, so the movie, the credits did not include, on IMDb, did not include Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield until after that Friday.
Yeah.
And even at the red carpet, supposedly they were there at the red carpet of the original premiere, the Hollywood premiere of it. But they didn't actually go on the red carpet. They actually went into the theater immediately to watch it from behind the scenes. So nobody knew they were there, but they were able to see it. They came out after their scene in Spider-Man. So I give them that right there, is because they revealed Tobey Maguire. Someone got a fired Sony actor or Marvel actor or help desk took a snapshot of Tom Holland and Tobey Maguire and posted it, revealing that Tobey Maguire. So we all knew at least there was 2 of 3 Spider-Man in the movie.
Yeah.
But man, Andrew Garfield, he went on all these talk shows and everyone's like, so how's that new Spider-Man movie? And he's like, I'm doing this movie and this movie and this movie. I don't have time for another Spider-Man movie. I was told I can't do Spider-Man again.
Yeah. I love it.
And
I love it.
He did. I would say he did the greatest shell game of showing that he's not in that movie.
The way that they did the whole thing all year, because people are saying, we saw you on set. He's like, that wasn't me. I mean, it was so great. And God, I'm trying to find okay. Let me real quick, I'm gonna jump and share this window right here. So everyone's seen this meme of Spider-Man pointing at each other.
Yes.
What I love, and I can't find the still of it, but in the movie, there's 2 times that they actually do that.
Yes.
There's one when they're in the lab
Mhm.
and they're going, Spider-Man, and all of them look at each other. And then Peter Parker, you, me, you. And they're all pointing.
They're doing the points. Yeah.
They're doing the points. And then there was another time when they were up on the Statue of Liberty. And they're basically standing in that position right there. And they were saying who's going to do what, and they're all pointing at each other. And it's
they,
just
they listened. They listened to the people when they did this movie.
Yes.
So that was what's fantastic. Will they ever be able to do another Spider-Man like this? No. This was a one-time event.
It'd be hard to reproduce, but I love where they're going with
I mean,
it.
maybe like 20, 30 years from now.
What I love,
and they create a whole new genre of Spider-Man.
What I love is at the end, Tom Holland Spider-Man having to reconnect with MJ, just like he did in the comics, and protect her and all this stuff without revealing who he is.
Yep.
And I think they can do that for 2 more movies.
Oh yeah.
Because
they're going. No, actually, no. You got to remember, MJ and Ned are going to Boston.
Well, we don't know. We know they're going to Boston, but it doesn't mean something won't happen that they don't. So or maybe Gwen Stacy comes back.
I do like the retro Spider-Man suit.
Yes,
because he no longer has the nanite because they don't know who he is. He's not active in Stark systems. But so he goes back to the red and blue,
and he's got to sew it together and everything again. And
I was like, "There it is, the retro suit. It's back." And
yep,
I was like,
As long as they don't bring back this was always the thing that I hated, and thankfully they didn't use it too often with them, is the spider wings. You know, where he's got the webbing.
I actually thought that's a great 50s throwback, 50s, 60s throwback.
I know, but I always hated them. I hated them in the comics. Because they did it again in the early 90s comics of the Amazing Spider-Man. And then I hated it in the cartoon, and then I hated it in the movie. But thankfully they didn't do it for very long.
No, I think they did it for like
scene.
Two or 3 scenes in the movies. So it wasn't like it was overused.
But I always hated that because, you know, in the comics and in the cartoon, all of a sudden he's like a flying squirrel going through. And I'm like, no, he has to swing. He has to get that momentum in order to get from place to place. He can't slide. So, all right. Any other things? So now we have real quick before we go, we have Daredevil in the Marvel Universe with everyone. And as we learned from the 10 Rings, that Iron Fist, where the land he comes from, I can't think of it off the top of my head, exists because they mentioned it in mentioned it in there.
Shenlao.
Shenlao, thank you. So I'm hoping Jessica Jones, I can care less if they bring back. Although I thought Ritter did really well in it. Didn't care for Jessica Jones.
They all need to come back. Only because the fact is the true defenders is Power Man, Iron Fist, Daredevil, Jones, Spider-Man.
And
Punisher here and there, because Punisher
made a lot of appearances in Spider-Man.
Oh yeah,
a lot of appearances. So
did you? Oh, speaking of the movie, so when the split was happening up in the sky, did you see all the silhouettes?
Yes.
So who did you see?
I don't. In my mind, I can't remember who I saw in there, but
Kraven the Hunter, Rhino.
Yep, I saw.
Scorpion.
I remember Rhino. Yep.
And there was one more. See, the Rhino is not the Rhino from the Amazing Spider-Man. It's actually the Rhino from the cartoon.
Yes.
Kraven the Hunter.
Kraven the Hunter was always a good villain too. I always liked him.
Scorpion, and there was one more. Now I can't remember who that fourth one was, but it was like, here we go. Shit's gonna get weird. But
so I know my son now is excited for the next Doctor Strange, and
my kid wants to see the Batman because the trailer was in it. He looked at me and goes,
did I just hear
we should go see the
that's
Batman.
coming out on HBO also, isn't it?
I have no idea.
I swear I just heard it's coming out on HBO Max.
Oh, if it is, I don't have to go to the theater? Fuck yeah.
The Batman HBO Max streaming date. Streaming date reconfirmed. This is 1 day ago. And Warner CEO Jason Keller has reconfirmed that The Batman will arrive on HBO Max for all subscribers on April 19, 2022. 46 days after it arrives in theaters.
Yeah. 46 days after it's already been in theater.
So it's not like Matrix or Wonder Woman where it's the same day.
Correct.
So
all right.
Ready? You want to give how people can contact us one more time before?
Yeah, again, so if you want to email us firetalknetwork@gmail.com. Phone number is 814-380-9820. You can catch us on our YouTube page when we are live, or you can watch past shows. Facebook, Fire Talk Radio, and on our website, firetalkradio.com. So, being that said, go ahead and land us.
All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's about time that you refasten your seatbelts. I hope those of you that were doing some dancing on the ceiling during the loop-de-loops were able to get back into your 80s rhythm. We appreciate that. We have determined that doing backflips with a 747 is not a great way to travel across the country, especially in the mountains. We apologize for anybody that we may have lost during the flips. The doors were not supposed to be opened at that time. So for those that lost family members, you will be reimbursed when we land. You will get a free complimentary coach ticket back to your original destination. And thank you again, and please follow Fire Talk Radio.
We can only count to 4. We can only count to 4. We can only count to 4. We can only count to